Hello and welcome back to the channel, MAGA Hive Mind. Over the past few month or so, ever since the election, many Trump supporters who voted for Trump have been learning a hard lesson in fuck around, find out. One of which is Rudy Giuliani, who has for the past year has been in and out of the courtroom just about every single day, dealing with defamation lawsuits being levied against him for spreading Trump's big lie. The big lie being about the 2020 elections, spreading the lie that Trump somehow had this election stolen from him. No, the election was a fair and honest election. Trump lost, and Trump and Trump world just cannot handle that they lost this election. The trials that Rudy Giuliani has been involved in involves a defamation trial where he smeared Wandrea Shane Moss and her mother Ruby Freeman for spreading baseless claims about their involvement in election fraud. And of course, in no surprise, he goes after black people because that's just MAGA. They're racist. They're racist as all hell. And Rudy has been doing everything he can to avoid paying a total of nearly $150 million to the two former Georgian election workers that he defamed. He's been ordered to pay back in watches. He's been ordered to turn over his apartment, turn over any other assets he has to pay off this $150 million. He's been ordered to pay it in cash, you name it. And he recently tried to file bankruptcy to get out of this, and the judge, thankfully, wasn't having any of it. He's going to have to pay this whether he likes it or not. Now, he went to public the other day and basically did a big sob story, crying and complaining about the results of this trial and being ordered to pay this nearly $150 million, $148 million to be exact. And it's just a sad state. Let's listen into his crying and grab your popcorn while you're at it, because it's hilarious. Not only listening to him cry, but also seeing the circus around him.
Well, it turned out exactly as I expected. He ruled against us on everything. Also, the trial he set down for the period of time during President Trump's inauguration, he really doesn't need to have it because he's going to rule against me. If you were sitting in that courtroom and couldn't figure it out, you're stupid. I've been practicing law for 56 years. This judge had actually written what he decided because he was reading from it. This has been true throughout the case. We've had not one ruling in our favor. His background is serious left-wing Democrat. Yes, he was appointed by Trump, but he was appointed by Trump because of the two Democratic senators and because in New York we appoint Democrats because of the deal that was made a long time ago between Javits and D'Amato. So this is about as left-wing as you get. I knew his father. His father was a great litigator, but left of left of left. This is punishment. It's punishment for being the one who revealed, first, Joe Biden's 30-year criminality. I'm the one who revealed it, nobody else. He hated me since then. He's been trying to torture me, stop me, take everything away from me since then. Anyone associated with me. Then, of course, the real indignity was, I'm the one who produced the laptop for the New York Post. I love the New York Post, but they have forgotten that. Half the cases I convicted people, and I tried the most significant cases in this courthouse in the 20th century, and prosecuted them and convicted them. And they were like real criminals, organized crime, terrorists, Wall Street, massive crooks who covered $2 billion for the federal government from Milken and Boesky. I prosecuted Nazis. What do they prosecute now? Republicans. Or people like Adams, who criticize Biden, and then they go after him for upgrading his tickets. This case against me is a totally phony case in front of a judge even worse than him. The judge I'm going to have the motion for contempt in has the heaviest record for sentencing J6 people. Nobody sentenced them to jail for long. When she was the chief judge, she told the other judges they weren't given heavy enough sentences. Did I have a fair trial? I didn't have a trial. Half the time she was threatening to throw me in jail, like he is vaguely doing. Meanwhile, he said something that's totally untrue. I'm not worried about Mr. Giuliani having... The reality is, I have no cash. It's all tied up. So right now, if I wanted to call a taxi cab, I can't do it. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a checking account. I have no place I can go take cash out except a little bit that I saved, and it's getting down to almost nothing. I have a business. I can do business expenses, but I'm very careful about that because God forbid I should make a mistake between a personal and a business expense. Unlike Hunter Biden, I go to jail right away. This is a pure application of the persecution of Trump, me, Bannon, Navarro, Professor Eastman, on and on and on. 100 people.
Yeah, so as you expected from Rudy Giuliani or anybody for that from MAGA for that matter, just constant whining, complaining, playing the victim card, woe is me, blah 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 blah. Rules for thee, but not for me, blah blah blah. Yeah, so let's start with some of the blatant lies he was spewing in there. So we'll start with the Hunter Biden one because that's the big GOP boogeyman. Goes on to claim that that he's going to prison right away while Hunter Biden continues to dodge prison. Well, first of all, if that comment was even true, Rudy Giuliani would not be appearing before us there giving us his little sad speech there. He would have been thrown in shackles and he would have been dragged out of there and had an orange jumpsuit on him. But this is that classic victimhood that MAGA likes to claim, that they're this victim in all this. They love to project, they love to do distractions, when this guy has dodged the prison so many other times throughout his life because he's had money, he's had power. And now he doesn't have any of that. He went on to whine about how he exposed everything. Exposed what? You haven't exposed anything. That laptop doesn't even exist. Because if it did exist, you would have presented it to us in this very trial. You would have shown us this laptop by now that exists. You claim you have it. Well, where is it? Because it doesn't exist. And when they go to talk to the computer shop employee that brought it to you, that every time he claims, oh, I have bad eyesight. It may have been Hunter that brought it. Because, like any of these MAGA-tards, you put them in front of an actual real judge, suddenly they change their tune. They spill the beans and they tell the actual truth. They don't lie like they do when they go on Fox News or whatever right-wing smearcast they spew their lies on. It's very sad that a guy who once used to be referred to as America's mayor due to the events when he was mayor of New York City back when 9/11 happened, that he has been reduced to this just a pathetic state of a person. And he continues to defend Donald Trump, a guy who doesn't give two shits about him, a guy who, as I've shown a picture earlier on in this video, still owes Rudy Giuliani legal fees. I believe it was $2 million. He still owes Rudy Giuliani money for legal fees pertaining to all the supposed election fraud back in the 2020 elections. And Trump hasn't paid any of that. And I think he did one little fundraiser for Rudy Giuliani to help him out, but it cost $100,000 per plate at this event. So in other words, the only people who were really there were the corporate billionaires that the MAGA claims to hate, as I've shown in my previous video, but they're all finding out that these corporate billionaires don't give two shits about them. With that, have a good day, and I just gotta say, keep eating up that popcorn, people, because we're gonna need a lot of it, because you're gonna see a lot of fucking around and a lot of finding out in the months coming up. Happy New Year.